All right, so getting ready to install this. I put it up here and I realized that there was something sticking out of the hole. So I had to break out the welder, welded a nut. You can see that this thing is pretty good and cross-threaded in there. So we had to get that out. I'm gonna actually run a tap through there. I have the correct bolt that goes into this now. So we'll be able to retain our shin plate that was not installed. All right, let's get this threads cleaned out in here. I've had to do this for a lot of stuff on this car. I don't know why. Like, some of this stuff shouldn't, you know, these bad things shouldn't happen. Nothing like getting this stuff assembled correctly. Alright, so we're going to get the flywheel installed. We're going to use blue Loctite on all those bolts. I do have to grab them out. I got the bolts in a bag. And then I'll have to, I do have the center thing here and the alignment tool to reinstall the clutch. So we'll show you that here too. I'm going to get all that stuff together. All right, so plate on, flywheel on, tighten down. The ACT uses a plastic like pilot bearing to help you align this. You can just stick it in there. Basically what will happen is it'll fall down and it bounces around and eventually gets deteriorated into nothing. I like to put silicone. I didn't have any black, so I had orange. So that's what's in there right now. That's why you see that. That will hold that in place. So if I take this off down the road to either replace it, and I still have my alignment tool, I'll be able to just reuse that and install it. Okay. Let's get this here. Okay, now these go pretty much one way. Sometimes you get lucky and they get right on the first time. Okay, so there we go. All right, so that is centered. That is in. Let's get our bolt started. Now that the clutch is on, let's take a look at our transmission. Basically, I'm gonna run it through the gears like this, which I've already done. Wiggle this around. You know, just basically do a visual on the outside. It looks like it already has a metal ball. This trans did have some work done to it at one time. As I before mentioned, there's little dots next to every bolt. So somebody went back over to re-inspect to make sure all the bolts were tight. I'm going to pull the shift selector plate off, and we're just going to take a look down inside, see what this thing looks like in there, and kind of go from there and get it prepped and ready to be bolted to the engine to go down in, within hopes that we don't see anything bad. And this is a good transmission because we have two to choose from, and this one looks the best. All right, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's looking like stock selectors, but the inside of this transmission is very clean and pretty. Everything spins around like it should. Everything's moving like it should. I don't see any bad teeth because I'll view down through here. Just typical of a used transmission. It looks like everything was sealed with the correct sealant, which is the anaerobic sealer. So we're going to get this wipe off a little bit here and just reseal this thing and just put a little lube, get our fork installed. I have some of the clutch disc lube. I'm going to put that onto the threads when we get that assembled. And we're just going to throw this thing in because it looks darn good. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to grease these seals so that when we start up, they're good to go like I do any other time. And we're one step closer to getting this motor down in. Complete and fully seated transmission. Now we also had one really good thing come today in the mail. Got a bolt kit for a manifold. Everything else from AGP. We also received the brand new AGP manifold in the mail moments ago today. So we're ready to bolt this on to this here engine. I'm going to dig out the correct gasket and show you which one that is. I'm going to clean up a couple tools. We're going to get this thing together. Alright, so the way I like to do this is, well, I've actually already got the coolant line installed. I'm going to actually put the intermediate actually in also. But we have our gasket here. This one here is the layered gasket. It has rivets in it. And it has this on the outside. It'll go this way. Okay. What I'm going to do when I do this is, if you look, you have the bottom. This one gets a stud. This one gets a stud. All right. And then you have this one gets a stud. This one gets a stud. And this one gets a stud. All right. So that's here, 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 and here. Now you can do whatever you like, but this is what I found works for me. I have high temp gasket sealer. It's made for 650 degrees. It's safe for all the sensors. All right, we got some of that on a piece of cardboard. I've always put these toward the outside. For some reason now they're telling you hollow end towards the head, hand tight. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit of this onto the threads. That is it. Right on the end. We're just going to do as it specifies. Stick them in by hand. Okay. We got our intake gasket installed. Slide our intake, our exhaust manifold on here. We have these little locking clips. I even put a little bit of silicone on the threads there. And, dropping one in the hole is probably not what you want to do. It's the first time I ever did that. Let's start here. You just want to get all these started because they need to fit down into this groove. The ones on the bottom are really tough. And that's why I like to get everything done on the back side of the motor before I get it installed. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to do that with the rest of these. Get the nut and the lock on it. They're all installed. I'm going to grab locking tabs. And they're all loose so that everything can move around here so you can get all of your bolts in started first. All right. There we go. There's one. Whether you do it or not, I'm putting a little bit of silicone right on the end of these. All right, so we were in the middle of installing the AGP exhaust manifold. Everything's tightened down. We still have to put our locks on, but we got our drain tube. I did put a clamp around these to hold these back because I've seen these actually rub on our intermediate shaft. So that's installed. I got the alternator installed, the belt. I'm actually getting ready to trim this cover. If you see right there, that bolt actually touches this inner part because I just kind of hand tightened it and spun it around just a little bit just to double check. So we got to take this inner edge off here and this little piece right down there. Get that off. Retest fit this up, put this on. I think that at this point, I'm ready to hang the chain. I'm gonna pull the radiator out of here, move my power steering unit over. I'm gonna dig out everything I need for my transmission bracket, which is sitting there all nicely painted. Get that ready to go on. I don't know if I have enough bolts for that in here and this bin, because I've been sourcing a bunch of stuff and I actually got a pretty good list going here of what we're going to be using. I need to find one more small headlight bolt for this side, and then we can get this headlight in. Got to connect these grounds. That's a definite must. So right there, and then we got to get this one on this side. We got to fix this here just a little bit on this harness, but we're gonna have this motor down in here in a few moments, and well, when that happens, we can finish that video out, and we're gonna move on to some of the more important stuff, like getting everything together for the fuel system and getting that installed on this car. So all right, it's getting ready to happen here. Getting the engine set down in. I feel I'm going to do some scratching here on a nice paint job, but we're getting there. I'll get down a little bit more over here. It is always tight over here on this left side, or right side if you're sitting in the car. Okay, it's sitting down in here now. I'm going to grab a floor jack and jack up under this side here, and that'll level my engine out. Sometimes I'll wrap a strap and come up to here and get it to tilt. I might do that also. And then we're going to get the center mount bolt started on this side, and then we'll get our transmission mount, a bracket and all that stuff ready to go over there also. So I'm gonna get this thing leveled out, bolted in, and we're gonna get this wonderful engine hoist out of the way. All right, now this is when the fun begins. Transmission mount is all in. We have everything out of the way. Engine hoist, everything is done. Center mount is in. All that stuff's tightened up. There's a couple things we got to put on in the back. I did already bolt in our shifter cables, so it's just a slow process. Just work on hooking stuff up, a couple pieces at a time here. So, you know, here's our heater core hoses. We can get those on. We got some of this vacuum line. This can be laid out across here to go to our intake, like that. So to reposition this a little bit. I think that one actually goes under that one. Ooh, sorry. You guys are looking at the bottom of the hood. So, got to get this one switched. I believe that goes behind. And then it holds it over this way. You know what I mean? It's just slowly we can start working on getting everything down into here. I did notice that I came across a problem here. So this is your, this there here sleeve cylinder. Okay, does not want to compress, so I found that you end up with stuff, I'm gonna say it, it ends up looking like a cottage cheese type of consistency. I believe it's moisture when it mixes with the brake fluid. And I'll find that in here in these quick disconnects. So I'm just gonna pop everything apart, flush out that system, and then I'll get everything together there. I'm gonna dig out, here's our motor mount or lower mount with the bolts. I'm gonna dig out the lower bracket and the bracket that goes here, the triangle bracket. Find bolts, get that stuff bolted on. We'll get the AC compressor set down in here, get that bolted on, and then since that'll just be easier with, you know, or I'll just throw up my power steering pump and get that up. But we've got a couple things. We're gonna get that stuff dug out, get it up in. Just right now we're at the point where we're just gonna start grabbing some stuff, getting it bolted on, and as I had forementioned, that the fuel system is going to be the next biggest thing. So I'm going to throw a couple parts onto here, and we're going to jump right into, you know, getting this fuel system checked out, looked at again, getting our fuel tank dropped, and going through that whole process. But that'll be for another video. So I'll go over some of the stuff that I got done, along with the fuel system, and hey, this thing's one step better going out and hurting somebody's feelings. So these cars really like to run.